everyone. My name is Chris Forrester. I'm a journalist and I'm here to help guide you through the NDS Perspective panel sessions. This afternoon's is hybrid. What does hybrid mean? What does it offer? And what are the challenges? A moment ago we were a panel of 3. We are now the panel of 4 that we originally expected. So let me come along the line and introduce that panel. On the extreme left-hand side, Elad Manishviz, Vice President Product Marketing at NDS. Welcome to the gentleman on his right, Matthias, very welcome indeed. Matthias Kroemer, Head of Marketing, Video and Connected Home at Vodafone. On Matthias's right, Stefan Beberweil, Director of Product Management at KBW. And Itzik Elyakim, forgive me Itzik, Chief Technology Officer at Yes. I'm going to start with you because there may be people in the audience who don't know what or who Yes is. Give us a little overview of Yes, please.
Okay, Yes is the DTH platform in Israel. We are running more than 150 channels, HD, SD, 3D included. And what especially in the environment, it's a multilingual environment supporting subtitles, EPG in many languages. And we're running the service more than 10 years, and we have 40% market share in Israel after we launched the service in cable monopoly in Israel.
Now, keep the microphone, because I'd like to ask you what hybrid means to you, either currently or in the near future.
Yeah, I can tell you that hybrid was for us a dream that we start in 2003 with a very pioneering project with NDS, and we introduced the first hybrid box worldwide in 2005, and it was ready to run VOD, but from regulation problem we didn't launch the service. But the concept of hybrid for us is the oxygen. Without the hybrid, I don't think as a platform we can stay for many years.
Really? I mean, has that regulatory situation eased a little bit? Are you now able to offer VOD?
Yeah, we launched a VOD over the top with a progressive download method, encrypted with the NDS conditional access. And we launched it 18 months ago, and until now we reached 20% penetration of the service. And this service comes with other services with high definition PVR that the brand name is Yes Total, that include PVR, include VOD, include HD channels. And in the near future we are going to expand the service by launching a media share product that called Yes Streamer, that will enable you to access to your content on the PC, and even through the PC serve to media site like YouTube and other virtual channels.
That's fascinating. Stefan, let me come to you. What does hybrid mean to German cable and KBW in particular?
For KBW, it's the conversion from the analog TV perception, the traditional way of linear TV, to other forms of TV, which is for us video on demand, for example. Video on demand is done through the cable network, so the signal is served by DVB-C, but the return path is done through IP, so the return channel.
So even though you have a portfolio of analog channels on the service, you're supplying this digitally into a dedicated box.
Yes.
Matthias, Vodafone, the new kid on the block. You're the newcomer to this portfolio of pay TV operators. What does hybrid mean to you and the services that you're now introducing?
Well, we're not only the new kid on the block, as it were, we're also coming at hybrid from a different angle.
Sure.
So as a telecoms operator, IP is pretty much the world that we're coming from. And when we thought about TV, the first installation is to do an IPTV service, so deliver the TV signal over the IP line. Well, you find that it uses up a lot of very high quality, dedicated and scarce resource in the network and in the line to the customer. And not only that, it also has a lot of footprint constraints. So that's where, when we went for a TV service, we very quickly identified we needed to deliver something which doesn't deliver to the customer something they already have, which is TV, but really take the broadcast signal, which is very effective in delivering free TV, and complement it with additional pay TV services over the IP line with VOD. And then we've developed a couple of tricks to make sure that, depending on the speed of the DSL line, we can deliver the same quality of content and deliver different delivery mechanisms to the customer.
Elad, you are at the sharp end of most of these services. What are the technological challenges that you've got to solve?
Well, I think...
Because all I'm saying is, forgive me, because here's satellite, there's cable, and there's wireless stroke DSL. So how do you square that circle?
Well, I think, NDS is in a very unique position, and our aim is, I don't think our, challenges are in the technological arena, but I think, our unique position is, trying to bridge from, the vision and the long term and the future plans of our customers, and bring them, into that throughout some phase development. So, bridge from vision into the reality, something that we are doing throughout hybrid technology. And if you look at what we have here in terms of product, solution, and services, they are all actually built, based on hybrid technology we are developing and enhancing, with our customers, such as Yes and KBW and Vodafone and RIS, starting from a very basic service, DVR for on-demand, expanding that into hybrid, enabling on-demand services to satellite operator and even telco that so far we're only a one-way based operator and couldn't introduce such a service. So I think the broadband actually opened up a lot of opportunity to this player to actually expand their service, but based on growth strategy and revenue generating products such as VOD, such as on-demand, such as multi-room DVR, advanced UI, advertising technology, and all the TV everywhere infrastructure that we put together for them, both in terms of the client devices they want to run their service, as well as at the back end to enable this, I would say, gradual transition into the broadband world.
Itzik, your market is, all markets are competitive, but your market is extremely competitive. You've got a very powerful cable rival. How are you marketing and branding and bringing these new services to the awareness of your of existing subscribers, but also new subscribers?
Yeah. Traditionally, yes, push the PVR services based on recording services, and it was the nature. The cable companies start with VOD services. So after a couple of years, the VOD services were very well known in Israel. So for the customer, they know what is VOD. So the marketing approach was not such a great investment to explain the customer what is VOD. He know about the VOD from the competitor, so it was nature for him to use the VOD. But the main challenge for us is to come with a VOD services that will be superior compared to the cable service. Right. And this is the real challenge. If you think they have a walled garden environment, you are over the top, and you have to bring with a new and better service. And we have done it. And the key success factor was, one is the user interface. The traditional VOD come with interactive application and different user experience for the broadcast. We came with one unified user experience for the broadcast environment and for the VOD experience. So it was seamless for the customer to navigate and to understand the product. So it was very natural for him. The second thing is The PDL. Even the PDL is running over the top, but we are giving the customer the feeling it's like a streaming video. But the PDL is the power that it can deal with loaded in the network, because this is the nature of the PDL, compared to the cable that if they have some loaded, so they have problem with the picture.
I understand.
So we just leverage the disadvantage of over the top to be better than the traditional walled garden services.
Stefan, you've got a big fat cable pipe to, by and large, exploit. How do you use that to both retain customers and to fight off the competition from the new entrants?
Firstly, it's we are convinced that customers have to decide for digital services. That means in our world there is still room for analog TV, but we do all we can to stress the advantages of digital TV. And what we do is we reserve room for the analog, we reserve a lot of room for digital linear channels, and also dedicated frequencies to video on demand usage, where we have HD in every room, and not only like the IP world, the hard limitations in the technical setup.
But as you migrate people to these new services and add digital service into the mix, is there a role for the older legacy box on your system? We know how reluctant, it seems, most German viewers are to make any change at all. What are you doing about that?
Well, we don't have too much legacy boxes left, as we had migration of CA, and therefore we use that opportunity to from there on only introduce HD and interactive set-top boxes.
I understand.
So there is a big base of potential already.
Matthias, you have no legacy boxes, you're a brand new system. How do you intend exploiting that newness to the market? There are plenty of people who are happy to kick the existing incumbent, whoever it is, whether it's Deutsche Telekom or whether it's the cable company. So in your marketing thrust, how do you exploit that welcome of any new player in the market?
Well, we actually do have legacy boxes.
Oh, really?
We did have legacy boxes because before launching the hybrid service, we did have an IPTV service.
Ah, right.
And we decided, for the reasons that I just mentioned, to retire that. And the migration we had from the old service onto the new service was just phenomenal. Now, in going to market, we basically have three very simple messages to give to customers. You bring your TV service. If you don't have it, we'll bring it to you. But that's not the main point. What we bring is, first of all, HD.
Yep.
Which in linear is a big trend at the moment, where everyone has their TV set. I think half the households are already equipped, but don't have the signal. The second one is a PVR, which is not new for anyone attending these shows, but it's not in everyone's home.
Exactly.
And the third one is the video on demand library, which again is something that people would expect from someone like Vodafone. And then we're bringing these three not only to the big hubs in the central cities where we have the big pipes to the customer, but really, thanks to hybrid, also to rural locations. And that's the big competitive advantage we have to versus some of the other players in the market.
Elad, let me pose a question to you. There's an obvious advantage for operators, to, if you like, to adopt a hybrid model over a pure IP play. But if you're asked, you can supply both. You could recommend one or the other. But how do you see the two different markets?
Well, I mean, for us, obviously for emerging markets such as India and China and Latin America, we do still, need to support legacy box. And a matter of fact, as we speak, we're rolling out services in those emerging markets, which are, legacy based. These are the majority of the boxes now being shipped in this market. I think the challenge is actually how you come with a product or the right solution that will help operator in emerging market to migrate and advance their service, which is today based on legacy boxes, throughout the high-end service, supporting HD and DVR and VOD later on. So I think we should actually plan our products such as they will be modular enough to support both legacy functionality as well as we'll be able to migrate easily and cost effectively. And this is something that we are investing a lot of time and thinking, and thanks to customers that we have in India and in Latin America, build a very coherent and consistent strategy of migration from legacy to advanced boxes, again, which is all around hybridity.
But should that type of operator make a should recognize the inevitable, that the support has to go on, but at the same time introduce the superior service and thereby gain a few extra revenue units in the process?
Absolutely. I mean, if you take, for example, operators we have in India, so I mean, they can initially roll out a $20 set of boxes, but in terms of infrastructure, this box, if you plug, in a USB key, okay, and this box is broadband enabled in terms of hardware, it could easily could be turned into a VOD-capable box by only, adding few bucks. And this is our strategy, I mean, in this market, actually build a modular product that initially could very cheap to roll out, but then, due to some hardware support that operator invest few bucks today, this could actually be expanded and create the potential for the operator to generate more revenue based on new technology, which is again mostly based on hybrid infrastructure, being it 3G or internet services in those emerging markets.
That's a super answer. Thank you for that. Matthias, in this increasingly converged world, and convergence is not a word we hear quite so often today as maybe we did 5 or 10 years ago, but it is a converged world, and you are in all of those triple play, almost quad play services. How do you see your future revenue mix breaking down? How, TV, voice, interactivity or broadband, how do you see it shaping up?
Well, that's a very interesting question. I think at the end of the day, the beef is in the packaging of all four services, and this is why we're very keen to offer all four, because customers will eventually just want a one-stop shopping for their entire services, communications in the home, out of the home, entertainment to the home.
And much the same question to you, Stefan. As you go forward into a digital environment, and I don't know whether it's a 5-year plan or a 10-year plan that you might have, but as you conclude that plan, how do you see your services breaking down? Up until now, it's perhaps mostly video and then broadband, but how do you see that playing out?
It's not easy to answer, as we continuously grow with broadband subscribers, which also increases the share of revenues from that stream. So currently TV overall is still one of the most important packages of revenue. Broadband will take up, but still we need to improve on TV for the next step. So the broadband growth will continue for the next 2 or 3 years, and then also in Germany the market will be a gross market but not a netted market. So additional revenues for us for the period afterwards are expected from TV.
Do you expect next year's analog switch off to be a motivator, to be a catalyst for people to look at new services?
We will try to educate people that use satellite and are switched off analog, that if they want to continue with their analog perception, they just have to switch to cable. But still, our main tendency is to use existing subscriber relations to bring customers to digital services.
Itzik, what's in your roadmap for the future? Because again, as I say, you're in a very competitive environment with cable. What do you see yourself adding as services to your DTH bundle? How about 3D, for example?
Yeah, 3D already we are broadcast and we have 3D over the VOD. And the hybrid boxes enable us to come with a new and introduce new feature, new services. And in the future, it's natural that the catch-up, the start-over services, the social TV, connecting to the social environment, it is natural over the IP. I think the combination between the satellite, that is the best platform from broadcast, for multicast, and the internet, the best environment for unicast, the combination enable us to dream and to go to service, any service that we would like to have.
Sounds like a good plan to me. Gentlemen, thank you very much. Our time is up. Elad, Matthias, Stefan and Itzik, thank you for your contribution and your insight. Thank you.
Thank you.